Hello everybody, welcome back to good old-fashioned Canadian bushcraft. We're out of the woods today and we're in my rat's nest of a blacksmith shop because we're actually going to be making something which we will be using in our next video, and that is a flint striker for fire starting. The first thing we're going to need is a section of 01 tool steel. This is the steel that we'll be using to make our flint striker. Really 01 we're going to want to use just because it's got a very high carbon content. This has a carbon content of, I believe it's about 1%. So the higher the carbon content in the metal, usually the better the sparks you're going to get from the striker. So got a whole lot of that here today because I actually just got an order for several of these, so I thought I'd make a video showing you the process of making a flint striker. So let's get started on that. How on earth do you get this stuff open? Oh, I can't believe that worked. So the first step for me here will probably be to cut the stock off at about roughly 7 inches. I'm guessing that this is probably going to be about the right length, that once it's all hammered out, it'll come out to the right shape for a flint striker. Let's start the forge. Alright, well, it came out a little bit larger than intended. Now, the last step of it that I did was heat treating, and that's sort of the most complicated part of this process. So I heat treated this beyond critical temperature, and I actually didn't give it any temper, so it's potentially quite brittle, so don't go throwing it around off of brick walls, I guess. But the reason I did that is because when you're using a flint and striker, what you're actually trying to do is you're trying to chip off a little bit of the steel, and it's the steel that's producing the spark. So usually the more brittle the steel is, the better the chips of steel you get, and the higher carbon content also works to produce a really nice spark. So finish this off with a relatively high heat treat and no tempering. Then beyond that, I just polished the little edge right here. So hopefully it'll work. Let's see if we can get some sparks. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on good old-fashioned Canadian bushcraft.